Continuing to follow Hurricane Helene as it treks through the Gulf of Mexico and closer to Florida's coastline.
It is expected to make landfall in the state's Big Bend region in just a matter of hours.
All right, so let's take a look here at the southernmost point in Key West, where you can see big waves crashing over the monument. We've had our eye on this camera a little bit this morning as people have gone out there too early to be looking at those waves.
This morning we do have live team coverage. Our Kara Duffy is joining us in Lake Worth Beach with what's happening out on the coast.
You see Danielle DeRoche, she's going to be joining us at the live desk, giving us a look at what travel is looking like across the state today. Also, meteorologist Charlotte Call is breaking down the impact we're seeing in other parts of the state.
But first, we want to get right over to meteorologist Jennifer Collins, who has more on what kind of impacts we're going to continue to see here locally. Jen?
That's right, Sam and Matt. Here's a live look at Hurricane Helene. Right now is at the 2 o'clock advisory, still maintaining its Category 1 strength. This storm is anticipated to rapidly intensify as it moves through the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico and should make landfall as a major hurricane, possibly a Category 4, right along the Big Bend region of Florida. Now, from the system, it is a fairly large system. We will see some local impacts here, and we've already seen it through the morning today. We had a tornado warning issued for inland Palm Beach County for this individual thunderstorm, now moving into Okeechobee County as just light to moderate rainfall. For the rest of the area, it will be a cloudy and very windy day, ahead of us. Now, we won't see rainfall through the entire day. We will see on and off downpours heading into the afternoon, with temperatures even outside of storm staying very warm and humid. Now, our south wind flow will be the main story. This is why we're under a tropical storm warning for the Treasure Coast, Okeechobee, and Palm Beach County. It's because of our anticipated strong wind gusts through the day today. We'll see sustained winds ranging between 25 to 35 miles per hour, and wind gusts could exceed 40 miles per hour at times through the day today outside of thunderstorms. Now, speaking of thunderstorms, we do have the potential for isolated strong to severe storms for today. We've already seen one isolated severe storm in inland Palm Beach County early this morning. Our greatest threat, though, will be along the west side of the state and across central Florida, but this does include some of our northern counties and parts of the northern Treasure Coast and parts of Okeechobee County, too. We also have the potential for heavy rainfall at times, especially in already saturated grounds along the Treasure Coast. We're talking the Fellsmere area, Port St. Lucie. If we receive too much rainfall in a short amount of time, it could lead to some localized street flooding, so that will be a concern for us, too. We're going to continue to monitor the system through the morning today. Now, right now, it is anticipated to make landfall along the Big Bend region of Florida, with the greatest impacts along the west side of the state. We'll send things now over to Charlotte Carl with more on that.
Yeah, Jen, so here's a look at the headlines that we are talking about mostly with Helene. The biggest things are that this is going to make landfall right now with the forecast as a major Category 4 hurricane. Anything 3 and above is considered a major hurricane. It will spend all day over the warm Gulf waters, which allows it to have that extra strength to take over that rapidly intensification process. Catastrophic storm surge, that is not a word that the National Hurricane Center uses lightly. It's expected along the Nature Coast and most of Florida's west coast. Estimates right now in the Big Bend region are 15 to 20 feet of storm surge. That is up to 2 stories high of storm surge. That is not survivable storm surge up in the Big Bend region of Florida, stretching from the Nature Coast up towards Apalachicola. So here's a look right now at our wind gusts. This is a look at some of our buoys that we have. Winds are already gusting 20 to 25 miles an hour. Over on our coast, we're seeing gusts up to 30 miles an hour. All of those gusts are coming from the north and east, and that is mostly as a result of where the system is positioned right now relative to the Panhandle of Florida. That north and east will be that north side of the storm. And as we look at the water temperatures across the area, we have anomalously warm water temperatures. That's part of the reason that whenever these storms travel over the Gulf of Mexico, we get worried about this process called rapid intensification, where it jumps categories very quickly. So those red colors that you're seeing in the Gulf of Mexico indicate above average sea surface temperatures. Right now, where it's traveling, water temperatures are 30 degrees Celsius, so about 90 degrees Fahrenheit. That is essentially like pouring ethanol fuel on a small spark of small smark. Doesn't take a lot, and it's going to be a huge fire, which is why right now forecasts are calling for landfall as a Category 4 hurricane. Now, we have seen that increase from forecasts. Initially, it was called to make landfall as a Category 4 storm, so we've seen that increase. Some models are still saying Category 5, but right now I'm sticking with the National Hurricane Center at Category 4 strength, but we'll, of course, keep you updated if there are any changes. Guys?
All right, thank you so much there, Charlotte and Jen. Although the storm is not making landfall on the East Coast, our local beaches are still feeling some of that impact.
And Kara Duffy joins us live now with what conditions are looking like out in Lake Worth Beach. Kara?
Good morning, Matt, Samia. Right now we are here near the Lake Worth Pier and Benny's on the beach. This is where the pier has been closed since about noon yesterday, and it's going to stay this way until this storm passes through. And right now, as you can see and probably hear, the wind is the biggest change that we've seen overnight. It's really starting to pick up out here, and of course it's way too dark to even see what the ocean's doing, but I can tell you just from the sounds of it, it is picking up and getting much more rough than it was even 12 hours ago, 8 hours ago. Now, Hurricane Helene is expected to make for some really rough and potentially dangerous conditions out here on the beach. The biggest threat in our area is going to be the strong threat of rip currents as well as high surf. We're talking up to 5 feet in Palm Beach County and then up to 9 feet of high surf along the Treasure Coast. Now, here in Palm Beach County, they're going to be closed for at least today. County emergency officials say that in addition to the Lake Worth Pier being closed, the Juno Beach Pier also shut down. The city of Vero Beach says it will also be closing some of its popular beaches like Humiston, JC, and South Beach Parks. Martin County Fire Rescue, they've been really frequently posting around the clock to their Facebook and social media pages, alerting people who may be in the area or around the beaches there, reminding everyone to take these warnings very, very seriously. Now, we will be staying out here throughout the morning, and again, just kind of keeping a close watch on what conditions are doing out here. And as people start waking up, certainly it'll be interesting to compare this time tomorrow to yesterday and see how this storm impacts our area. Matt, Sam.
All right, Kara, thank you. And if you have any travel plans today, airports across the state have already issued delays for some flights.
Yeah, Danielle DeRoss is joining us now at the live desk where we're seeing some slowdowns. Danielle.
Well, Matt and Sam, we are seeing some delays and cancellations this morning out of some local South Florida airports, mostly out of Fort Lauderdale and Miami. We did check with Palm Beach International, which is still showing almost every flight on time right now. But other airports are warning passengers that things could really get a lot more difficult as the day goes on. Here, when you look at FlightAware, you do see that the airports with the most delays and cancellations are by far located in Florida. So here is the warning from Orlando International's airport, letting people know that the airport remains open and operational, but inclement weather may lead to more delays and cancellations today. Atlanta's airport, which is the busiest in the world, letting people know that they have a severe weather plan in preparation as they do expect things to get more difficult as Helene moves further north. And I want to show you footage now from Tampa. So Tampa International's airport completely shut down today at 2 o'clock in the morning. This video was from yesterday where you could see many flights were already delayed out of Tampa. They are expecting to feel strong impacts from this hurricane. So you see here on their social media, they're reminding the public that the airport itself is not a shelter. They do say that they plan to reopen only when it is safe to do so. Some other travel conditions that we're keeping a close eye on, PalmTran. So they operate many of the buses here in Palm Beach County. They have this notice here on their website, letting people know that their buses are still running as normal today. But they do say here that if conditions change, so if we see sustained winds of 35 miles per hour or more,